Hey Michael, how's it going? How's it going, everyone? Hope everyone is well. We'll get started with the outlook very soon. Hope everyone enjoyed their weekend, and pretty much we're looking at second half of March, and still got 2 full weeks to go. So let's take a look into this week, see what's going on, what's on my watch list, and then we'll take it from there. Okay, so I'll go through the currency market in that order. So we'll start with currency, and then we'll just kind of take it where it is, and then see um, as people join along, they might ask different pairs, then we'll go take it from there. All right. So usually we're gonna stream for at least an hour and a half. So bear with me if you have the time. Let's So last week in my stream, I've been talking about how dollar you can pretty much see both kind of directions. One possibility from a higher time frame basis is, and if we see follow what the price action is doing, impulse, correction, impulse, looks like we're forming a potential correction to go lower. That's kind of the higher time frame approach. And lower time frame, I mentioned about this, and this can be kind of a flag correction, and we could just potentially go higher. So sometimes when we see these kind of contradicting patterns on the lower time frame versus the higher time frame, it's best to not guess, and we just kind of take it from there. It's way the bullish outlook, or if we're going to see some sort of rejection and fall, then it is going to be the higher time frame outlook that plays out. Okay, so that is still kind of what I'm seeing this week. I still see this bullish move up can continue if we see this last bit, if we can just get further bullish price action and making all the dollar continue to go up. Okay. Hello everyone from Croatia, from wow, everyone all over the place. Great. I don't know about you guys, but we have this something called daylight saving. I'm sure some countries have that, some countries might not. But in North America, at least for us, in because I live in Canada, West Coast, so we have to do this daylight saving, where we move up an hour. So that pretty much every year, twice of the time, it messes with the whole stream time and GMT time because GMT time doesn't move. So what actually happens is for my time, half of the year I have to +8 to figure out GMT, and half of the time I +7 to figure out GMT. So those of you who live in North America, you guys will know. So yeah, euro dollar I will go over. So but let's continue. Let's continue to some dollar pair. Let's start with Aussie dollar. Let's start with Aussie dollar. So I saw in my Telegram group, I saw some of you guys are looking at a potentially bullish look, and there's nothing wrong with that, I think. Short term wise, let's see what's going on here. Personally, because I see it from a higher time frame approach, this pullback here, and how are we going to get some sort of continuation here to go lower to prove that there's further dollar strength, or this may form some sort of inverse head and shoulder and continue upwards. So this area here, it's again same thing with dollar index, a little bit crucial. Like trying to figure out what's going on here. Is this going to form some sort of like this, and then we just bullish move up, or we're seeing it to zoom in, we should zoom out a little and see that this is still a kind of a bearish trend, and this breakout forming some sort of correction, we can still expect it to go. All right, so that's what I see in Aussie dollar. Looks like we can, here is the most crucial area. We break out of this higher time frame, kind of a wedge, but are we going to get more bearish price action to continue the downside from here? We had a bullish move down here. Is this all the correction we need? And then continue downwards to the low, and then eventually. Okay, so that's what I see on Aussie dollar. Make sure to see what this lower time frame will give you. Can we give us enough bias to short here to the lows and then break below and continue lower? So that's Aussie dollar. Let's talk about Kiwi dollar, because Kiwi dollar is looking pretty much the same. I still have a pretty good bias for a potential sell. We break out of this higher time frame channel. Looks like this is just a pullback or some sort of ascending channel. But if we get a completion of this, we may, and this is pretty much similar across the dollar board. You can kind of see this different way. I think some of us are seeing this potential bullish, some of us are seeing this potential bearish. So again, there's nothing wrong with that. It's all about what you see ultimately that fits your plan. If you're looking for a short-term trade, perhaps the bullish move. Looking for a long-term approach or a bearish approach. Um, this bearish move down is still very impulsively. I still kind of expect, if this is not the correction, to go down, but maybe the next correction will. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm seeing. Forming a structure like this and then still go down afterwards. Okay, so short-term wise, if you see that as a bullish move, sure. If you take it just to the top here, if that fits your plan, okay. But higher time frame, just making understand that the bear is still, may not continue to the top before it start dropping. That's also a possibility. Okay, so that's Kiwi dollar. Let's go Euro dollar. So Euro dollar to me, again, similar to Aussie, about if this move down happens, are we going to get further continuation? So very strong bearish move down, but is this enough correction to go lower? Okay, so kind of what we have to see is lower time frame here, kind of looks like a rising wedge. Usually we're going to get that at the top of the correction. Still be a continuation, just a pullback, in the correction before we go lower. So this breakdown out here, and I see again some people are looking at this potentially long. Again, I think the long is similar, like Kiwi dollar, Aussie dollar. Is the long going to be the one that's upside? Not likely, just based on this correction here, right? So short term wise, sure, there might be some sort of bullish move, however, how long it will push up. But ultimately, the bearish move is still there, right? The bearish outlook is still there, unless we see a bigger correction or some sort of bigger. So far, just a lower time frame correction. Like I said, it may or may not be able to be the one that break the high or continue to be on bullish trend. So that's something you have to take care of, to always understand when you look for short-term trades like these. Of course, price may form a deeper pullback, but what downside as well. So is this move here pretty much justifiable for your trade, for your position? As long as that fits your plan, then sure, right? And think about it more as a long-term approach when you take these trades. So that's my. It's great that we have these discussions. So hey, how's it going, man? Nice to see you, Art. So moving on to pound dollar. So pound dollar, I was looking at this for a couple of ways. So let's take a look. I think a lot of us are looking at pound dollar as well. So originally we talked about the pound dollar selling from the top. We have impulse down, correction, and impulse. And is this another correction here? So this bearish move down here looks like it's pretty sharp. Let's go to the lower time frame to see what's going on. So this latest bit of the price, we had a slowly, gradually move up, and then a sharp move to the downside. So this reversal here, followed by looks like a potential continuation. Again, some of us are looking at this for a potential long, and yeah, if the top, if looking at just the highs here for target, again, if that fits your plan, then go ahead with that. But ultimately, just be careful on the higher time frame still, because looks like we're in a bearish move. This is just correcting, and we're likely to break out and confirm that further bearish move after we break out this high time frame channel. So be careful if you're taking these ones. See if the price can reach the top. If it breaks the top or hit the top to form a double top, obviously that's great for a price to maybe potential to start reversing. And but again, just watch out for your risk reward. There's can you hit 3 to 1 here, and then can you move your stop loss, things like that. All right. So pound dollar, that's for me. Not looking to buy or sell here. I want to see price just break out of this correction and go. This is always what I will be looking for entry after we break out this higher time frame reversal channel. Peace and love, family. Great, happy. Very nice to hear that. So let's move on. That's a few or major dollar pairs that I'm still looking at. Looking to see if there are any bullish on the strength of dollar still. Okay, short term wise, that's kind of what I'm seeing. I like the overall kind of price on most of these ones, right? Euro dollar. So whether or not this is going to be a correction, that we could just correction and still go down, right? That's why we know correction. We don't know 100% if this correction is enough to correct this move and go lower. Well, if it's going to go lower, then we expect maybe to form a bigger correction and the move is still downside, right? All this move down, see, it's a bigger, it's a correction for this move, and we still go down after. So let's move to a few things. I want to talk about dollar yen because I got a lot of you guys ask me about dollar yen. So dollar yen, we talk about buying. Good job on your part because it's pushing up massively now. What I see now is what the price will do here. Is it going to for bigger correction here? It looks like it's consolidating here, so clearly we might just get that bullish move to break out now. But personally, I'm not really looking. I would prefer and then confirm kind of correction outside of this higher time frame channel, and then that's going to confirm that further upside. And I'll certainly get in on this. It's the same as pound dollar that I mentioned. These are the trades that I don't want to miss. Okay, because I think taking it here, sometimes what will happen is price just move up pretty much mid a reversal and go all the way down afterwards. So watch out for obviously moving your stop loss if you're in the buy already. But what I see here again on a higher time frame is because we're in this higher time frame channel wedge and price managed to pretty much impulsively break out a couple of weeks ago, and now just waiting for price to actually break out here so that we know that this continuation correction is over for this bullish move, and we expect the next bullish move at least to hit the high here. So lots of risk reward here. Certainly could be a long-term trade. Hey Jojo, I started following you from last week. Just want to say hello to you from Sydney, Australia. Great, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Great. Check Kiwi Yen. I will. I will check Kiwi Yen. Share gold analysis on gold. Yeah, I'll definitely go over gold after I go over currency. Okay, and crypto, it's going to be the last. Okay, so it's going to be currency, commodity indices, and crypto. Okay, but if you type in whatever you're looking at, I'll certainly take a look sometimes during the stream, so you can always rewatch these streams later on my YouTube and Telegram, on TradingView, sorry. Okay, so type it in there if I haven't get to it, but I will get to it once I finish the stream. So dollar yen, let's move on to Aussie CAD. Aussie CAD is a trade I'm in currently. So what I see on Aussie CAD on the higher time frame, what I see here is a double top to me. Okay, remember I talk about double top. It doesn't just have to hit the top or break the top. It's about how the overall price gets there. To me, the price within this is forming a more of a rising wedge structure as price getting squeezed, and then we see a little bit more confirmation on the lower time frame. Originally, I was looking to see if this bullish move will continue, but instead it's a forming just a reversal kind of price action. We have a reversal impulse, reversal correction, and we break all of this kind of higher time frame wedge now. So pretty looking clean for continuation. This is kind of what I was looking for as price start forming another kind of a correction here. So we have impulse down followed by correction, and then we have a small impulse, all of this correction, and then lower time frame continuation. So I talk about these pretty much on most of my entry. So correction after breakout, one of my entry I always talk about in my book. And this is a head and shoulder pattern and just going to a downside. So this is the area to watch out for to see if we're just going to break out of this price now, or are we going to get reversal. If we start consolidating here, forming something like this, then certainly this is going to be the one that's going to continue lower. So I will be keeping an eye on this for moving ahead. But if I see some lower time frame bullish price action where it's not showing me that confirmation bearish anymore, then I'll look to either move my stop loss or adjust my target and just take off for a little bit tiny profit here. So it all depends on what price will do in this last bit of the area. The longer, the better it is, right? Let the price consolidate. It's better so that we're just going to consolidate during the Asian sessions, and then during pretty much London or New York, we'll get the price going again, which is what I want to see. Amir, please make a video on market structures. I'm confused on identifying market structure on charts. Did you see some of my YouTube on playlists? Go to my YouTube playlist, price action structure and pattern. You're going to see me talk about identifying price action structures, things like that. You're gonna learn a lot more from continuation reversals. Okay, so check this playlist, check in the video. You'll learn pretty much everything in there. So let's move on to Aussie Kiwi. Someone pointed out to me, and I will kind of talk about from his point of view because he mentioned this chart to me. I thought it's interesting. So originally last week I talked about I didn't really like Aussie Kiwi because all this price is moving pretty impulsively. Remember, we as price action trader, we want to wait for correction impulse, right? We want to wait for some sort of continuation or some sort of reversal correction, which is in this case, right? Reversal kind of wedge, breakout, continuation, we move up. That's kind of what we always look for. But over here, I'm really not seeing much. Like these are just sharp impulse where he said, well, can this be an impulse and this is a correction? Or this is at least some sort of correction, not necessarily continuation, but it can be reversal. But at least we're slowly getting counter structure now. And yeah, I do agree that it is forming more of like a pennant or triangle, whatever you want to call these, but kind of getting price squeezed to the top now. And just because it hit this top doesn't mean it's likely to go above or whatever. What it's showing here is kind of a small reason double top rejection, and can the price start forming bearish kind of price action to continue, at least continue to this low, and then see if price is going to give us a little bit more confirmation to break out or start going to the top from here. So this is kind of interesting. So I'll just kind of put a maybe on it to kind of keep an eye on this. This what I should see if price will move down here and then continue. I'm not interested in the sell. I'm more interested in the buy if that happens. And then this move down here and then continue to the upside and breaking above this high. That's what something I'll look for. But for now, really nothing. And like I said, I'm not interested in the sell. That's pretty short term. I just don't see this sell to be continue all the way like this to the low. So I'll go. Yeah, I'll talk about that after in the crypto side. But that's Aussie Kiwi. Let's move on to Aussie Yen. So I saw some of us are looking at Aussie Yen in the Telegram, and I do agree Aussie Yen is shaping up to something. Recall originally we had this kind of what I call false breakout on this kind of higher time frame double top area. And I mentioned, well, when price does this kind of false breakout, expect a bearish reversal, which is kind of what we get here. After bearish reversal, it's kind of waiting for what the correction will bring to us. Is it going to be a continuation? And look, to me, all this price is just correct itself all the way to the top. But what it does is we've seen these structures play out all the time, right? We've seen these kind of M style pattern that I talk about in my videos. We had a push up to a higher time frame double top, and then it pushed down, but slowly correct itself up to that double top again. So essentially, you're forming a real top here and higher time frame double top, and you're getting that potential M style pattern that I talk about. And M style pattern, the right side of the M usually is going to be very corrected, which is what we get here. So how to approach this, in my opinion? Well, right now, nothing is confirmed yet, right? So that's why I suggest people just start shorting here for no reason. You want to wait for price to give you a little bit more confirmation here, whether a move to the up like this, breaking above this high correctively is even better because we're likely to see that reversal and continue. Whatever it is, you want to see this correction to complete. So then complete this before a strong breakout and then continuation to the lows, and likely to continue if we break below it. I will go over Bitcoin, but that's still gonna have to wait for me. I'm going in orders, but I will go in orders. I have to finish a lot of markets. Crypto is going to be my last one, okay? So let's continue. I want to talk about pound yen first. A lot of you guys are something I was showing in one person talking about pound yen here. So what's my approach at pound yen? Well, nothing happening here yet, right? There's no buy or sell anything yet. But what I do want to see from the price is because from this bullish push up, right, it's really impulsively where naturally price a little bit more correction before it goes, especially we just broke a pretty significant high. So I just don't see price just kind of start going up in a line. Like naturally, a smaller correction or a small pullback is bound to happen. And when I start seeing price move up more in a corrective fashion rather than different, so I do see a potential sell if we finish this correction, we break down, and there's lower time frame continuation here. And if you can justify a trade to the downside for at least 3 to 1 or so, then that is reasonable, right? Because we see these kind of structures and pretty much forming a bigger correction and just continue higher. And that's why short-term wise, this can work out. But again, as long as this fits your plan, fits your way of trading, then you can take something like this to the downside. And then if it breaks a low, then you know we might be getting a deeper correction to go continue. Then that. But if it doesn't, then you get 3 to 1 or 4 to 1 risk reward before the price continue. Okay, so that's pound yen. So that's the Kiwi yen I've been talking about quite some time as well. I do see the merit in Kiwi yen as well. And this is that double top that I always talk about from the price. And again, we have this false breakout and we have the push to the downside. Looking like we're forming kind of a continuation here, right? That's why I waited a bit for the bigger correction to happen, which is kind of what's happening now. So either correction and the correction to break out or wait for that confirmation breakout. It's the same that I do see the price going all the way to the lows here if we get enough good price action to continue all of this correction here. Even better, in my opinion, than Aussie Yen. Aussie Yen is good for this double top, but Kiwi Yen looks much cleaner in an impulsively breakout. Okay, I like how the correction is still correcting very parallelly, so to speak, because that means that that selling position is really strong on this lower time frame could lead to that bearish breakout and continue lower. Okay, so that is Kiwi Yen. Let's move on to pairs, but they're all looking really good. I think Euro Aussie is the post I just made just now. I think Euro Aussie has a lot of potential. If those of you guys are looking at bullish for me, on a higher time frame here, I've been talking about that this move to the downside is very correctively, is not a market, which means that naturally this is a correction that we want to see a potential impulsive move. And descending channel, as we know, is a reversal structure when it comes to the double bottom area that the price has been. And how to confirm that? Again, lower time frame, right? Lower, be careful. There's a few potential opportunity here. We're seeing this kind of a channel or a wedge kind of structure, but looking like this is just a continuation kind of price action for this bullish move up. So we want to see this bullish breakout and then continuation to the upside. That's going to be a good entry. We're still relatively in this descending channel. So second option would be waiting for price to move down correctively, right? This is the higher time frame double top area. So you want to see price, is it going to hit that double top area? And then is it going to reverse from it afterwards? So just be patient here. There's no point buying here now. The buy would be either a breakout or followed by a move to the downside. Patient, Amir. You'll see that in my videos. You're gonna have to spend some time going through them because I will explain all the strategy, kind of what I look for. But what we look for is continuation, right? We know that market can only move in two phrases. This is a corrective phrase, and we're looking for the impulsive move. This is a corrective move. This is an impulsive move. This is a corrective move. All we're trying to do is identify that there is a correction and then the next impulse happens. That's what we do to maximize our risk reward. That's why we look for confirmation breakout, confirmation entry. So Euro Kiwi is the one I'm in now, and that's why I'm not looking to enter Euro Aussie until further development of these, but Euro Kiwi I've been talking about since a couple of weeks ago. Same idea is that descending channel moving to the higher time frame bottom and continuation here. Remember first week of me taking Euro Kiwi, I take a few trades here, all result in break even, but that's always in my plan to take these break even trades and then get back to the market when I see further bullish move, because we understand this is a descending channel clearly after the strong impulse to the downside, right? Remember, there's a few shorts of us here to the short side. We short some of these trades to the downside, and now pretty much forming correction, we push down. But this move down is really corrective rather than impulsively, which is correction, right? So impulse, correction, impulse. Now we're just seeing a more corrective move down, and we move down to a higher time frame double bottom where price is pretty significant level, because this is where that double bottom earlier happened before the COVID push up. So we're right back to this area now. Finally, it's seeing a similar structure like Euro Aussie, but kind of a wedge, kind of a pennant, but we have this lower time frame breakout, and that's what I like about it. And pretty much my target is always that beginning of correction, right? Beginning of this correction is always my long-term target. I want to see and then continue to upside, trying to get in on these buy potential, trying to scale in for more opportunities. That'll be nice too. All right, so Euro, Kiwi, Aussie CAD, only two trade I'm in. This also dropping very similar like Aussie CAD, right? Because all these CAD are getting pretty strong here. So let's look at Kiwi CAD here. I've been talking about Kiwi CAD. I know some of you guys got in on this sell here, so that's very good job. Been talking about Kiwi CAD since we were in this correction. I mentioned about this high price of this price to push down, and remember, we took both of these trades, and to me, they all result into not too much profit because price ends up pulling back, and that wasn't the impulsive move that we were waiting for. But we know that price cannot sustain in this forever, because we know that this becomes a higher time frame ascending channel. We have all these correction in between, and naturally when the price is finished correcting in this higher time frame channel, we get the next impulsive move. So those of you who caught it, good job. And even this pullback, I usually look for a correction after breakout. So what do I see on Kiwi CAD now? Well, we break all this low, we break it super impulsively, which is all good stuff. Can we get continuation, right? Now it's all about waiting for continuation to sell. I think it's pretty no-brainer here now. Impulse and move to the downside, that naturally we're just going to get further continuation. This just is a higher time frame ascending channel, pretty much correcting itself at this double top area. This is also that M style pattern double top before the price starts dropping. Okay, so I look pretty content. They're really, really clean for that further downside move. Yeah, guys, I'm gonna leave crypto last, so I apologize. I have a lot of market to go over, so I will go over Bitcoin in the stream sometimes, right? You can not just make sure you watch it on my YouTube, or you can watch it on my trading view, right? Because all my streams are here. You can rewatch all of them. Okay, thanks. So let's talk about Kiwi Swiss. Some of us are looking at Kiwi Swiss because Kiwi is another option, but I do see a potential here. I talk about this sell here when price again had this false breakout, we push down, and then is this a correction to go down lower, or are we going to get further correction? That's kind of the only difference here is we push out, but sure, and we can still push down at least to this low. And this is always my potential target, because we know that there is a potential that we can get a bigger structure like this and continue upside. But that's why we first to see what the price will do if it reaches to this bottom, and we'll continuation bullish price action like this, or is it going to break below and getting into a next bearish run? So that is it for me for currency, guys. I hope any question on any of the pairs I went over. We're gonna go over gold and stuff afterwards. So let's talk about gold because gold for me, I got break even actually last week, but that's what I'm seeing here. Again, we know the higher time frame. This is just a higher time frame corrective structure. We know as a channel, as a flag, it's been correcting very, very long. And I mentioned how the price gets to the bottom is very key, right? We got there very correctively in this kind of descending channel. And I was managed to get in on this buy here. I think it was really clean. And when price moved down following this correction, I moved myself up to break even and exit just for break even. But what I'm seeing here is we still have potential upside move. I want to see if this is going to form a bigger correction here to pretty much correct this lower time frame push up and continue to the upside afterwards. Okay, so I still like gold. I still like the potential on gold. I'm not really, I don't, some people ask me, well, if you're strength on dollar, can gold be dollar exactly? In my opinion. So I like that. I like the higher time frame structure. I like how gold just has a clear bullish move up followed by a correction here. That could just lead to that continuation to the upside. Okay, so jumping to platinum. Platinum is pretty much the same thing. Pretty much same thing as gold. I talk about platinum as well. Talk about the long-term buy from here once price pushed down all the way and had this pretty much a reversal impulse, and then so there was a long-term hold, and then there was correction here. We pushed the upside out, and I like how we're breaking above this high. Certainly there is merit to continue, right? And that's kind of what I'm looking at on the lower time frame. This is a bullish move up. This looks like a channel or correction, and we push up. There is good lower time frame continuation. So this move can certainly continue to the top, and then see what price will do after it breaks the top. That will be a good potential buy here. Amir, your question is sometimes I don't really enter on candlestick formation. It's based on price action, structures, and patterns. But if you're new to this, it's not going to be easy for you to understand. So you better watch a lot more videos from me so you understand what I'm talking about. It's very hard to explain in a few minute time. But what I'm looking for is the next impulsive move, as I always say. I never want to enter the price when it's in a corrective stage because this is what people lose money on when it's in the correction. People buy here, buy here, buy here. It's just much price is just moving sideways, it's consolidating, and you're getting eaten by the correction before the next bullish move up. Okay, so I'm entering based on the confirmation. It's simple, right? We want to wait for a correction finish, which is in this case, this is a correction, but it's finished when it breaks out and continuation. That's how we prove that this correction is over, right? So we know that this is an impulse, this is a correction. We're likely to get the next impulsive phrase, right? This can only be an impulsive phrase. There can only be corrective phrase. It doesn't matter which time frame you're looking at. Okay. Move on to oil because I was looking at oil here and I talk about oil as well for potential downside. I think this can still lead to something here. Okay, so even though this move down is kind of pulling back now, but even if it pulled back to the top here, I would still be interested in a potential sell because it looks like we just formed a double top and it's still dropping. So I still like what I'm seeing here, this overall. I like how we're stalling in this area, which is kind of a higher time frame double top area. So price is pretty much reacting to this top here. What I want to see here is either a breakout from this price, continue lower, like I said, correctively move up to a double top here and move down. That would be nice as well. Okay, so that's what I see for oil for this week. If this is continued bullish move up, then I'm not interested in the buy. Okay, I see this as too much bullish price action that naturally I want to see a bigger correction before it goes, whether it forms here to go or it breaks out a little and form here, but not really to buy once price already kind of slow down here, in my opinion. Yeah, any question, guys, before I continue? I just wanted to go over these crypto commodities, sorry. But let's talk about crypto. I'll leave indices last, but let's talk about crypto. I hope some of you guys are still on for crypto. Why don't we jump to crypto now, and then we'll take it from there. So talk about Cardano here, right? I'll go over from the bottom here. If you guys recall, I've been looking for Cardano upside for a long time, right? So I'll just move that some of us may or may not caught it, but that's good. Pretty much looking at Cardano from the bottom here, right? We already push up massively to upside. So what do you expect here when we break the all-time high here? To me, when I start seeing this correction forming, when we just touch this top here, right? This is the double area. What I want to see here is, are we going to get continuation? That's pretty much all I look for when we see a massive bullish trend like this, right? Same thing as Bitcoin, which I'll go over. When we see massive trend like this, naturally price needs to correct bigger and longer, right? Sometimes all we need to form is these buying, right? But a lot of times you gotta see it from a higher time frame approach. This is just a one big impulse. Naturally, price potentially needs to form bigger correction before the upside. And that's something you just have to keep in mind when you see the price has already moved up so much already. Here is because we have at least a potential structure forming, which is good. You know, this can just drag on a little bit, but I like how we're potentially forming this inverse head and shoulder. And we have a tendency of a pennant or triangle structure looking to break out. So I want to see if price will break out from here. Preferably break off is what I want to see, and look for continuation to go long, right? It's pretty simple. That's what we have been doing. This buy here that I got, if you guys recall, I exit for $1 right here, but still same idea. We broke the previous high, we form continuation and price pull. Same idea can happen here. Okay, let's move on. It says algo or crypto. Well, this is what I want to say algo because it's kind of still in this consolidation. This is still kind of a move down, and then it looks like we're just in a consolidation. I don't think any buy or sell at this point. Let's just let this correction finish, and then let this correction finish and see what do. You know, if it's down continuously, or this is just a reversal kind of period consolidation, and then we break up and then continue to the upside. That's what I see on algo. Let's look at a few things. Let's look at Bitcoin. Some of you guys are looking at Bitcoin, previous all-time high, right? So that's pretty important. That's pretty interesting. Usually when it breaks all-time high, I'm gonna look for two things, right? Either is this move up correctively, that we might see a reversal, so a double top like this, M style pattern will reverse, or after we break out, are we going to get bullish continuation? And that allows further buy opportunity to the top side. That's pretty much the two things I will always look for when I'm in the market. That's what give me a better understanding where the market is going. So let's look at Dogecoin here. How do I know it's a false breakout or a bright card breakout? You will never know 100%, right, my friend? But what we do as price action trader, for confirmation, right? What we do for confirmation is there a structure there that we see? Is there a correction that we see, right? Is there a correction after we see a strong breakout? Point correction, is there a correction we see? Right? Is there a correction we see? So we're waiting for a correction after breakout to confirm the buy. So what do I see on Dogecoin? I think a lot of us are looking at this as well. I like how we had this impulsive breakout. It looks like a continuation correction that I was looking for to go further upside. And all this giving me a good sign that we could continue higher, that this is just a kind of a continuation correction. And we broke out, there is signs of correction here, and we're likely to continue in this fashion if we just continue the bullish move, which is pretty much what we want to see in this case. All right, so move on to Ethereum. I do have a bias for Ethereum as well. Originally, I was looking at once price breaks this $2,000 level, or sorry, all-time high level, is it going to continue? But instead, we just kind of form a sandy price push down and then forms this expanding type of structure, which I talk about is very more advanced because you can see it as a continuation, or you can see it as a reversal. So in this case, to me, it is showing me a reversal. We have a bullish impulse up, bullish correction. Looks like there's more correction to go. So I want to see if price can break above the high and then continue. That will always be my buy here. I think buy here is okay, but preferably break the all-time high, right? That's kind of how you confirm further upside and then look for continuation. All right, so Ethereum, someone asked me about Link. What I see on Link is a little bit contradicting, because it looks like there's a bearish move down, but it looks like continuation correction to go lower. But on the lower time frame, it looks like we're forming an inverse head and shoulder. It's very noticeable, right? You have an impulse, correction impulse, but does not continue. Instead, it's a bullish reversal, looking like a bullish continuation that this move can continue higher, right? So look at this, and that's why I usually don't stay out of these kind of positions. So looking at Litecoin here, kind of the same idea as Ethereum. Price forms somewhat of a structure here. It looks like it's more of an expanding one. And again, I said expanding one can be or can be reversal. So in this case, to me, it is a reversal and price kind of pushed to the upside now. Looking like there's a pullback, there's a channel, but if we break to the upside, we can still continue. But again, breaking above this high like Ethereum and buy would be much better. Yeah, so that's what I see on Litecoin for now. I do see this lower time frame. I do see this bullish breakout is strong, that we can just get bigger correction, we continue, but ultimately is breaking the high would be a lot better in my opinion. We see higher, we break this high, the next high is all-time high, so there's lots of room to the upside if that happens. So that's what I see on Litecoin. Moving on, kind of scanning through. Lots of them not really on my watch list. It's also because a lot of them is looking kind of bearish. Like for example, Neo. I do want to point out Neo because it looks kind of bearish to me still. I remember some of us or some guy got in from here, he was messaging me, so he got out somewhere here and he told me. But it looks like this is just a bearish move down and it looks like it can continue lower. Okay, some of these cryptos are looking like exactly that, right? So I don't really like those, to be honest. That's just me personally. I'd rather be looking for long on a lot of these. And yeah, so. Yeah, you're welcome. Hey, you're cool, man. Thanks, buddy. So that's crypto. Any other crypto over before I wrap it up with indices? I think I went over all the major cryptos. Now you see all these structure to me is still kind of a bearish structure, right? Of course, it can go up, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying this has to go down, but just for me who look at the market all this time, when I see structure like these, it gives me more concern that if this is all the correction, or we're just gonna push down like this and then we continue upwards, something like this. Something a bigger structure like this. That's possible. I'm new here when you're usually live. I try to do this 3 times a week, my friend. I try to do this 3 times a week. I'll do a weekly outlook like today. I'll do 2 daily updates throughout the week. I post always in Telegram, so if you're interested, you can watch me on Telegram. Go on my Telegram on Eris Trading. You can find all my links for my streams, my analysis, video lessons, and things like that. You can just browse through it. You'll know what I mean. I don't keep bombarding with notifications, I try to, so it's not all. You're not always gonna get crazy notifications like other people's. Ripple. I'll go over NAS 100. Okay, after this. XRP. I don't really see too much on Ripple. I don't like this kind of price action. I haven't either. I'd rather wait for a little bit more development. This doesn't look to me like there's a structure forming here or any kind of correction. Especially, the whole this push down from uh, the SEC, all this consolidation I don't really like. This push up followed by this push down, I don't like either. So I just want to see what will happen in terms of structure here. That's what I see on Ripple. Not really interesting for now. Okay, that's just how I look at. I will pick looking better. I know it's looking the best for a potential up move. Very clean, very easy. Like, there's no, to me, that just screams bullish. Whether this correction finished today or it finished next week or week after, doesn't really matter. What it tells you that this is a strong bullish move up. This is a strong bullish impulse, and we need this before the next up move. So let's continue to indices. So Nasdaq, what do I see on Nasdaq? Well, I think I talked about this last week in my up. This whole last bit of the price, I don't really enjoy, so to speak. Like I originally, remember we talked about this sell to the bottom, and when the sell happened after, it's just a little bit of all over the place. I don't really like when I see price. It's a little bit erratic. There's usually a lot of swing kind of motion. There is kind of a correction here to go lower, but instead this becomes a reversal correction. Let's move to the upside. But if you just see this latest bit of price action, you can argue that price isn't going higher. This could be like a head and shoulder pattern, and then price go lower. So really not seeing too much. I look for entry when I look for setup. I want to make sure my higher time frame bias is working with lower time frame bias, and all these moves add up to be together. It's not really telling me the same thing, and I don't really like to trade when that happens as well. So it's best to stay out until we see a little bit more confirmation. Ultimately, for me, my bias is still a potential sell, still having a potential move down after this ascending channel finish. On the higher time frame, we see these ascending channel has moved out. We see this push back as well before continuation. So this can be the same thing. We don't know, right? Of course, we don't know for sure. But same kind of momentum push down, same kind of pullback, and we might even form an M cell pattern with push lower, just like what we have here before during the COVID time. Okay, so that's Nasdaq. It's gonna be very similar like most of the indices, like S&P 500. I still see S&P 500 within this trend, within this ascending channel. So really, even if this push up forms a correction to go up, as long as we're still within this channel, even if push to the high, still get a chance to. That's why I'm waiting to see if the price can break all-time high and breaks it impulsively to go continue. Then we'll look for buy continuation. But if that does not happen, then um, look for that potential reversal. That way I always talk about, because we see this as a sentinel. We still not be able to push out of that ascending channel. S&P hasn't. Same with Dow Jones. They couldn't, but similar price action we have seen in the past, right? This push up and then forms a deeper correction before it moves down. So same thing can happen here and then move down as well. Okay, so last one, same idea here. Looks like we're breaking out now, which is good for us if we're looking for a bullish continuation. This is strong bullish push to the upside. There's like a correction here. We're breaking above this high or all-time high kind of structure now, which is good. But I wouldn't just jump in here. You want to wait for that continuation correction to go. If that's going to form, then good. Look for this buy opportunity. Similar like this, whatever correction you're going to see. But make sure you wait for that, because what we're sometimes going to get is just that sharp reversal, right? We've seen price move up and then drop down afterwards a lot of times as well. So make sure you know that these entries here, if you're buying here, be careful, right? Wait for a little bit more consolidation to buy is better. Okay, so that is Dow Jones, and that's pretty much all the crypto, indices I'm looking at. I'm not really looking at any other indices that look great. I think most of them still needs a little bit more work. Like this is consolidation. DEX. So DEX, well, does this breakout going to be continued? Not necessarily, right? If it's going to, we wait for continuation here, and then we continue. Or if we're going to start getting more push up like this, but moving up very correctively, then expect a reversal pushing down. Any question, guys? Any question on anything or any pair you want me to take a look that I haven't taken a look yet? I'm happy to take a look at a few. Euro Kiwi, yeah, of course. So I'm in Euro Kiwi. So this is one trade that I mentioned in my weekly outlook or weekly trade recap. I like the higher time frame structure, descending channel moving down. To me, there is that higher time frame double bottom. And what I like about the price is that we have this kind of impulse up and kind of like a period consolidation, but we have another that falls into this kind of wedge or a channel structure. Latest bit of the price, impulse out followed by correction, and then look like we're impulsing out again. So in this case, I want to see what price will do. We seem to be able to push up and push down, and it's really not too much here, but let's wait a little bit. It might just be Monday morning spread and all that stuff. Let's wait for things to calm down a bit. Can we get consolidation here in Asia session, and then we continue during London or New York session? That's kind of what I want to see. That would be very, very nice to see from. So that's Euro Kiwi. And Aussie CAD, same thing, right? Aussie CAD here, we dropped down massively already, in my opinion. So if we get continuation here in the Asian or London session, then we get that continue down. So we've seen Aussie CAD move pretty fast, pretty impulsively, and we expect the same thing here moving forward. So keep an eye on this one. Yep. So any other pairs or any other questions? I can take a look. One of my favorite going into the week, well, except the ones I'm in, I think Euro Aussie is really good. Euro Aussie can be potentially that confirmation out today. What I'm trying to say is, let me just delete all this. Sorry. If we can get a strong breakout, in this week, today, tomorrow, or whatever, and wait for that lower time frame correction, I think Euro Aussie will be very good to go. I like how it has similar structure like Euro Kiwi and bullish breakly. Kiwi Cat looks really clean as well, very similar like Aussie Cat, and looking like we could get that continuation to the downside. We break out followed by a correction, and if there's lower time frame correction to go, then expect this move to continue going lower. Aussie Kiwi, sure. Like I said, I wasn't interested in Aussie Kiwi unless I start seeing what it's doing in this latest bid. Can this be a structure like a pennant or a triangle to push the price higher? Bullish, really, but I'm not really looking to buy here. What I prefer price either to move down here and then push up, making a completion of the structure. That would be great, or at least price needs to push above this high here and continue with continuation correction. That's kind of what I want to see. Don't get that. Something I will be looking into. I still see these move a little bit too impulsively, which I don't like, right? I think I talk about this every stream, but my point is I like to see there is corrections, right? We know how price usually move after a correction. We like these correction that we know that we are taking trades of these. But something like these we don't see often, and it doesn't give you that given confirmation that it will continue higher. So it's best to wait a little bit longer. So that's Aussie Kiwi. Dollar Swiss, sure. So this is kind of what I see on Dollar Swiss, and really it has been pushing up very, very impulsively. I was originally looking at this as a short for previous structure, but let's just continue to understand what the price is doing, right? And we're breaking above this high, but we're just pretty much forming a correction. This is just a correction to me. If we go down to a lower time frame, this looks like almost an inverse head and shoulder that is trying to create. So let's wait for this part of the price above, then that confirms that this is just overall a big correction for this up move, and we're likely to see higher. I was looking at this daily. I almost want to draw in something like this, almost a descending channel, moving the price down. We move down, we break the low, and then instead what price is doing is just we have this bullish reversal up. So we might even get a deeper correction. So don't be too hasty here. Just see how big this correction is. This is pretty big correction that we just saw. So if we're going to form inverse, expect this right shoulder to be really long as well. So always understand when you take these lower time frame buy, if that's in your plan to do so, they may or may not continue higher. They might just move up and move down, move up, move down, creating a bigger structure before the next up move, right? It's actually 100% sure that this is the only correction that this move takes to continue higher. We might see bigger correction, we might see smaller correction. We don't know 100%. That's why we can only enter these and take our trade to break even. If the trade pushes up, we know we always move to break even. And you take out for break even, but you still are looking for an overall buy after the correction or the bigger correction finishes. So that's dollar Swiss. What did I see? Talk about gold. I mean, I still look to see gold as potential up move. I talked about this last week as well. I actually got a break even on gold, but I still see this as potential. I still see this as a descending channel, higher time frame structure pushing the price down, reversal strong I want to see here, well, I'm not interested to buy here. I really want to see is, I just don't see this move pullback. If we're going to see this significant pullback like that price is doing here, I just don't see this is going to continue. We might break the high and then form down, forming a bigger correction or something, or a structure, something like this, and then move down once more before we continue. Okay, so that's kind of what I see on gold. I just don't see much price action here yet. All I see is a push down and then a reversal impulse. A reversal impulse, naturally, we want to see continuation. If that, like I said, the other scenario is we move to a bigger correction and then we continue to upside afterwards. All right, so that is gold. Pretty much it. Pretty much it. What I'm looking at for the week ahead. Now, other than these, like I said, cryptos, and then a couple pairs here on dollars. I think they might shape up to something. So if you like these streams, like I said, you're welcome to watch me for 3 times a week. I do 3 streams a week. Weekly outlook like the one we're in today. I usually try to do London market session outlook. New York market update. And then sometimes London. We try to do 3 streams throughout the week. And I always post the links in my Telegram. If you're interested, you can follow me on Telegram. I always post the links for both TradingView, which is what you're watching, and YouTube. This is also where I post all my educational video in here. You're free to watch these as well. All my analysis are on TradingView. If you're welcome to check them out. All right, so I think that's all I want to say for the day. Unless you guys have any other questions, I'm happy to answer some questions, and that's about it. So. Thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome. No worries. Just doing what I'm doing. Yeah, appreciate. Follow me if you like these contents on all of my platforms. So I do these for a while now. So if you like what I'm saying, you're welcome to follow. Which tech analysis, like technical analysis, you mean? Pretty much I only look at price action. If you notice, I don't have any support resistance. I don't have any indicators. I don't have any Fibonacci's or whatever wrong when it comes to trading, in my opinion. It's just what suits you as a trader. For me personally, I just look at the raw price action of what the price is doing, because I don't look at anything fundamental when I look at trading. It's all technical perspective. I made several videos on backtesting. Make sure you check them out, because we've seen the move play out over and over again. So we know when we enter these trades, we have a higher probability setups. That's why we keep continuously look for impulsive move followed by corrective move, impulsive move followed by trying to capitalize the market, really. So. All right, everyone. So I will wrap it up today. But like I said, those of you who watch me, you can watch another stream on Tuesday, New York session, and Thursday I'll do a New York session. The links in Telegram. If you want to follow me, watch on those, you get the links. And we'll go through the week, and hopefully I'll create another educational video throughout the week, which I usually do. What time frame you entry and where you stop. I talk multi-timeframe analysis. So first I need to have confirmed that what I'm seeing on the higher time frame, I have a bias for a potential sell. I go to the lower time frame and look for possible entries, possible confirmation. So any lower time frame, it doesn't have to be a specific time frame. It can be 2 hour, 1 hour. this case for my entry, it's based on a 15-minute correction after breakout. We see this is clearly an impulse correction, and then another lower time frame impulse, lower time frame continuation. So pretty clean to enter right here. Put the stop loss, put the correct is pretty explanatory, and look for first target, which is the lows of this correction for about 3%, lows of here for a second target for about 8.3 to 1. But ultimately, if we get more correction to go down for a longer term approach, I do expect price to hit the big correction. I'm new to trading. What leverage is best to use in small capital? Leverage at all. I don't think leverage help new traders at all, because the leverage just help people to blow their account faster, because people don't often have risk management. So if your small account is, I don't know, let's just say $1,000. I don't know how much it is, but just risk 1%. Okay, you can stick to 100 to 1 leverage. That's what I usually use. For me in Canada, I can only use 50 to 1 for some brokers. I'm fine with that. But keep your leverage small, because you don't want to over risk your account every single time. How new traders blow their account is because they often risk like percent of their tiny or small account, which they cannot sustain that kind of pressure. I've seen way many people have these $1,000 account, take 2 trades, they're a margin call because their their position size is way too big. And that's what people don't understand is you're not trying to get rich farmers. Do is you have to be consistent, making good percentage return, and then compound over time. And when you have a bigger account, suddenly 5 to 10% a month is really, really looking good. Okay, that is my point on risk. You may hear differently out there, but I'm just trying to help you to be sustainable, be consistent in your trading. Okay, so hope that helps. Yeah, so I think that is it. So thank you all you guys for who are live here. First time I see a few new faces. So hopefully you guys check me out later on. Enjoy your rest of your week. And good evening, good morning, and good afternoon to you guys, and hope to see you guys next time. And have a nice day, everyone. Thank you.